Welcome, everybody, to the A to Z Golfing Podcast with Andy Cezanne. I'm Anthony Zampano. Joining us again, Rob Maguire from Woodbury, Minnesota. Rob, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Andy, I'm fantastic. Andy, how's the office upstairs? I'm like directly below you.
It's doing fine. I'm full from lunch right now.
Fantastic. Oh, yes, that is Mr. Corsi stopped by the office for the first time. Took us out to a little lunch. We went to Yu Wang's over in Schaumburg. Ordered way too much food. Andy brought majority of it home. If anybody out there knows him, Mr. Leftovers.
As usual.
But yeah, they're in our fridge downstairs now. He will be taking those home with him tonight. We're just going to point that out. No chicky parm for 7 days in the refrigerator. So even though we're having troubles with the office refrigerator right now, it is freezing everything inside of it. But it's okay.
I had like a whole monster just blow up in the fridge the other day. It was very disappointing. I was very sad. I was about to eat the ice chips of it though.
Better cold than hot.
Yeah, very true. Spent a little bit of time this morning on Maytag's website trying to figure out what vacation mode was. You'd think after 15 years of construction, I would have figured out what all the electronics are in refrigerators.
I'm just happy to see both of you guys adjusting very well to office life, all the different things that come with it. It's good stuff.
Me too. So let's segue that into a little reflection on our 2023 season. We touched on it yesterday, a lot of travel in 2022. We went to Vegas specifically for our trips, Vegas, Pebble Beach, Forest Dunes, and Kohler. We'll get a little bit to what we did in Pinehurst at the end of the year for the rewards program. But, obviously for all of us, our first trip to Pebble. But I wanted to start right from the top. I mean, the Vegas trip has been something that, Rob, I know 3 years ago, it was really this idea of doing it around the Super Bowl. Fortunate to have a great group of people out there last year and every year that we've been there. And now it sort of turns over into the Swag Vegas event. So between the stuff that we have going on in Paiute and the things that we've done with them, and now this year, once again, going back to Shadow Creek, tell us a little bit about how all that came together from AM golf trips to Swag.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a huge football fan, so the Super Bowl has always been a fun little time of the year, and I couldn't think of a better place to spend the Super Bowl than Las Vegas, right? For those that like football, for those that like to place a friendly wager on a game, Vegas is the place to do it. I've never actually, prior to us starting to do events, we've never actually played golf out there. Usually you go, you spend your time in the casinos and you enjoy your day. So we put together this idea several years back to spend the Super Bowl weekend in Vegas and play some golf and have some fun. I think what is most fun about it is you get a lot of everything when you're there. You get the golf, you get the casinos, you get the restaurants, you get the nightlife, you get whatever it is you want of it from that side. And I think the game just lends itself really well to a big weekend. And so we've been out at Paiute the last few years. Last year we went up to Wolf Creek, had some fun up at Mesquite. Shadow Creek has been a partner of ours for a number of years. So excited about going back to Shadow Creek this year. We kind of did a little test run several years back, and if you haven't been, it's just an incredible facility. So really looking forward to kind of pushing the envelope forward, right? I think each year we've kind of done a little bit more and a little bit more. This year we're going to have a few more surprises up our sleeves, and really fortunate to partner with a great group in Swag and delivering that to a great group of players. So excited about what that is turning into, and I think what that's going to be for years to come.
Yeah, and I think with that, I mean, obviously, Shadow was a place that we visited 2 years ago, and the sights and the idea of like the feeling that you're not even in Vegas anymore, you kind of add that together with, not only just the golf course, but then having the entire golf course for the entire day, right? I mean, there's something to be said for just having an event at Paiute, which is an amazing facility with 3 amazing golf courses, and having that course to ourselves and then segueing that into the Super Bowl party. But I'm super excited as to the experience of getting in a charter, getting over to the golf course, spending the entire day there, and then hopefully a little surprise that we will have a little bit more information on as to how long the festivities are going to be able to go into the evening. So with that, and I'm sure Andy can talk a little bit more about it, about, just the sites and the different stuff that you see from Paiute to Shadow.
Sure. I mean, well, I've never been to Shadow yet. This is my first time at Shadow, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. Yeah, you guys got to go 2 years ago. I had to jump on a flight to get back to the missus. Paiute's always been a fun one for me. It has the mountains in the background and all that stuff. Plus, we've been there for the past 2 years. We're pretty knowledgeable on the area of it, and the courses they have are spectacular there. I'm super excited to get to Shadow, though. I mean, when you said also that it just comes out of nowhere, can you explain a little bit more what that means, though? Because I've heard it from you guys, but I don't know if everyone else knows about Shadow.
I mean, look, the Shadow Creek experience is unlike any you'll ever find in golf. It starts with, to Tony's point, the idea that you have to be driven to Shadow Creek. You can't even arrive, and they won't even let you in. So they have to bring you in onto the facility. And then from the moment that you're there, you realize you're in a very specific, special place. You're literally driving through a desert, and here you come to an oasis of a golf course. Every kind of tree imaginable is built there. Every type of grass is grown there. The streams and the creeks are cleaned. We actually saw someone power washing rocks when we were there, like cleaning the golf course. It's immaculate. From there, you go to the locker room, probably the best locker room I've ever been around, right? It's just, you walk in and it's just grand, and there's so many names on plates there that just, it blows your mind. And this is all before you even set foot onto the golf course, right? Like the experience there is awesome. I'll say the range is probably better than, 50% of the golf courses in the country, right? When you get out into the range and you warm up and you meet your caddy and your caddy, and then you meet your caddy who's worked there for 30 years, right? Down to earth. They've caddied for Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson and you name it, celebrity wise. And then you're out on the golf course and you have it all to yourselves. They have it all spaced out. It's all, specialized just for you. And so you really get this experience like you're the only one on this golf course. You're with your best friends in the world, and you get a chance to just kind of enjoy the day, enjoy the moment. It's got the mystique. Anything you want, you can get. There's some funny stories about, my order. I'll leave it off the table just from there. But, I think you just get a really awesome experience that you're not going to find anywhere else. And I would challenge anybody to come up with something better from that side. So the ability to deliver that experience, we talked last time about experiences, and the ability to bring that experience to golfers, I think, is what really excites me the most. And to share that with people, I think words just really can't do it. And pictures don't really do it. Sorry, Andy. I know you like the pictures, but you got to walk in these grounds to understand what Shadow Creek really is about, for sure.
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of videos and looked at the pictures on there to try to give myself a little head start on where I should need to focus on. But you also touched base on the practice green. Z, you've been at the practice green at Cascada also. Like that to me was one of the best practice greens I've seen, with the waterfall in the background. Wasn't there a waterfall, I think, or some kind of rock mountain back there? Like that to me was pretty spectacular. So I'm excited to see the two comparisons here.
I mean, we could do probably 5 episodes just walking through what Shadow is and how it is and the engagement that it has, and how you just, like, you see the mountains 3 times. Like you just completely lose the idea that you're even, that a casino is right down the street. I think for me, obviously seeing the topography photo of what it was when it was built and how there was nothing around it. And then you look at that same photo 10 years later, or maybe it's 15 years later, and it's so built out. But once you get into the gate, you don't feel you don't see the houses, you don't see the roads, you don't get that. It is, I've used the word with it, it's its own oasis. For me, it's a golf course where every single hole just has its own variation of something, and it always has something going on. And to the point, I mean, the amount of stories that people could tell of going there or seeing who they've seen is at a level that I don't think many courses can compare to it. I mean, obviously we don't know anybody that's a member at Augusta National, so we can't hear the stories of stuff like that, and have never been down there to experience to play it. But I have heard that one day it'll be open to the public. So, but yeah, I mean,
countdown is on.
We could talk at endless lengths about it. And so for me, I mean, it's awesome that we're going to be going back and we're going to get that experience. But I think for me, it's going to be more captivating to see what we're going to be able to do with the event for the 80 plus people that are going to play that round. And that's sort of like the fun part about it, is that it's going to be a fun round. And I know, like, when we get to play these extra rounds, like we've done at various places, whether it's before or after event, it's just good to get out there and have some fun.
80 plus?
Well, I went with a number. I wanted to be safe and conservative. You know, I didn't want to throw out official numbers. I technically am not allowed to have the official numbers. Just because I know that you know that I would run with them and probably make an Instagram post, and might frighten you. If you want to share the number, you can share the number.
Let's just say you're probably, about 75-80% of the way there, and you're good. So
okay.
Oh,
very nice.
Man,
very nice. So we've got some other places. We got some other places that we've actually covered last year a little bit. Andy and I talked a lot about how him and I got to play together in Pebble. We were a team for that, and we've talked about the stories of that. Obviously, at the end of the year, we went up to Kohler, which is something that we have talked about numerous times. We had an interview with Burke last year a little bit about it. But for me, one of the courses that we really didn't get to talk about was actually the one that I did not make it to last year, because I was at the Great Bethpage State Park up there in New York, just having the greatest time of my life. So Forest Dunes, I think that weekend, for me watching it, because I had to watch it through you guys, was where it started and how it finished. So if you guys could talk a little bit about where the series event was and the makeup of that, and then how Forest Dunes was, I'd love to hear it.
Sure. We started the week at American Dunes there with the series, which was a Jack course up that way, and it was fantastic. I like when you walk through, they have the music coming on with the American flag saying, the freedom and all that stuff, and then all the information they put on there. And then you just get through this little gate, and the course just opens up with a huge flag in the back, American flag in the background. I thought the course looked fantastic when we were there, and I'd love to get back there and play it sometime. Rob, what was your take on American Dunes?
Definitely a golf course I think every American should play. If you play golf, you're an American, you should go see American Dunes. And what they've built there, first off, it's an exceptional golf course, right? Jack did an amazing job. It's not a traditional Jack Nicklaus design. It's a little bit more wide open and playable, different from what he's built previously. So the golf course is amazing. But the mission and what they're doing there is really kind of cool. It's special. If you have any ties to military, whether it's you've served or you're related to somebody who served, it's just a very special place. It makes you feel really good about what you do, and you're playing this game along those lines. So really cool, little special place. A little shout out to Andrew Schmidt. It's his hometown that it's based in, and he loves it there. And it was just a really fun, really great place to visit from there. Very different than most places, but worth your money from a trip perspective. And then from there, we went north. We went up to Forest Dunes. So we did American Dunes and Forest Dunes. So we just called it the Dunes weekend, if you will. And Forest Dunes was something that jumped off to me early on as a really different and unique opportunity to play something that really doesn't exist any place in the world. I think there's only one other place that does it, and that's St. Andrews across the pond. And they have essentially, it's a 36-hole routed layout, but they play 3 courses over those 36 holes. They have the loop course, which one day you would play it as the black course, and then the next day you would play it as the red course, and they reverse it. So the tees and greens are really interesting, complex, and it's a fun way to play, a same set of land and look different from that side. And that just caught my eye as something different, right? Back to that experience word is we gave players an opportunity to experience something there. They had a par 3 course, they had a putting course, and a regular 18-hole course. And so we were able to make it a really fun weekend for everybody. Not easy to get to, by all means, basically in the middle of Michigan from that side. And there's really no direct flights or anything along those lines. So it was a little bit of a challenge to get to. But I think once everybody left the facility, they realized that it was a really special place to to get out there and play and have some fun with their buddies and whatnot from there. So I think it was just a great time and a good facility. Definitely recommend seeing it for sure.
I was lucky enough to get to play in the tournament, and the red and black course, it you're it's crazy because you're standing on the green, you look back and you're like, that's the fairway I hit yesterday, but it looks completely different than it did the next day. And then it took a while because the greens were playing really hard. It took a while to figure out you got to land like 20 yards short and let the thing run up, and then you can actually start to score. But it was a great track. It's a little gimmicky with it, I'd have to say, but for me, I had a good time, and I would definitely go back again to try it out.
Your turn,
It
Tony.
came up in a conversation with Kenny McGinley and I had yesterday. We were talking, and he was kind of going through his schedule and stuff because we've been trying to coordinate some things for 2023, and he was talking about like the third week of June, he was going to be in Michigan with one of his friends because he travels around for like hockey and stuff. And that's one of the places that he's going. And we just started talking because I had told him that like I had never been there. So we were just kind of talking about it. We were also talking about like a bunch of different stuff and everything. And it was funny that he just said that he was ironically going there. And I was like, oh yeah, it was the one place that I didn't go in 2023. So it was, or 2022. So I was like, I was really interested to hear a little bit more about it. I mean, obviously I talk to you two every single day, but it's good for everybody else out there to sort of hear how the whole weekend came together and those types of things. And it's funny because we'll talk about something. Actually, I can just jump into it right now. So part of the American Dunes with the Forest Dunes is very similar to what we're going to be doing at Weekapaw. So as a part of our 2023 trips, we have PGA National, which will be coming up. The next episode, there will be a recap about it. We'll be going over some interesting things that happened at PGA National, but we go from PGA National to Weekapaw. And if anybody has followed our schedule on both websites, AM Golf Trips and Swag Series, you will see that Weekapaw is the first couple days, and then that Monday is the Swag Series event at Weekapaw. So it's to me, it's really cool because I feel like you get the best of both worlds, very similar to American Dunes and Forest Dunes. So as we look at 2023 PGA National Weekapaw Bandon Dunes, which is just going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be awesome with the private house offsite and everything, and the people that we're putting there, and the amount of people, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, the outside of the U.S. Amateur, potentially the largest group that they've ever had up there. And then we actually finish at a place where I think Andy spent majority of his time last year, which is Kiawah. He knows more about Kiawah than I think anybody out there. But let's start right from the top. Things we're looking forward to from PGA National, and then we'll just kind of work our way down from there and go over some tidbits as we go along here.
What am I looking forward to PGA National? The sun. Getting into some really good weather. It's a little cold up here in Minneapolis at the moment, but getting into some great weather. But then also playing another iconic golf course, right? Home of the Honda Classic. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. The grandstands are built, and they're actually going to be up when we're there. So it's going to be kind of cool to see what it's like to play a golf course when the grandstands are built. So that's what I'm most looking forward to: fun, sun, grandstands.
I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on the bear trap. I'm just going to hang out there for that little segment that everyone's on there and just watch everyone hopefully not crumble under the pressure of that spot.
There might be a bet or two about that somewhere. Just saying.
I think it's going to be cool just to see another PGA type golf course in the setup. I mean, I'm most looking forward to the short course and the match course. I'm really curious, as somebody who is a nerd about golf, really like what you could do on that match course and like have fun out there with your buddies and stuff like that. Have a nightcap and play 3 holes and so on and so forth, and just kind of do something with flipping the tee and picking different tee boxes to play and stuff like that. To me, that has me the most excited. And I think the layout, when you look at PGA National, the whole resort is. Yeah. I mean, how do you jam everything in the 3 days or 4 days? How do you do that? And I mean, fortunately for some people, they're getting down there a day early, so they're going to be able to experience a little bit more of it. But for the people that are going, I think the experience is in the entire thing. And I think that's kind of like, as you look at this schedule that we have put together, where those experiences lie within every single event. It's not really off-site. It's really not, you're not going here for a day like some other trips do, and then you get over here and then you got to go to a different golf course. So, and I think that's what's really cool about, for me, like how I was trying to segue Forest Dunes as similar to Weekapaw, is that you guys talk about the experience of American Dunes and then having to travel to Forest Dunes. The Weekapaw event, you're in the same place. Like you're going to be around the same people. You're going to be having two different contests going on, which I think is going to be really cool. It's actually going to be our first event where we kind of do like a flip-flop setup for the trips and set up for a series event. Weekapaw to me is the one that I'm most excited about, just because of the setting up of the events and stuff like that. So I know Rob has talked to him a lot down there and like the overlapping of the events. So tell us a little bit more about how Weekapaw is going to come together, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, similar to our Super Bowl Vegas event, we built the Weekapaw over March Madness, the final weekend, Final Four weekend. And so, our concept or our thought here was play a great place, capture some great weather, a place where you can go, stay. You don't have to travel between golf courses. Have the casino available to the nightlife side of this. On the Saturday evening, we get to watch the two Final Four games, so we get to find out who gets to get into the championship. We get to experience those two great golf courses in Arizona that are some of the best in the state, and then we get to turn and flip it on its head, recreate on the Monday the Swag Series, and really go back out there and play it under different conditions or a different setup, if you will, from there, and then stay that night and get to watch the championship game for the NCAA final championship there. So I think it's kind of the encompassing theme that we're trying to build together. It's about the golf, it's about the golf course, but it's also about the stuff that's in and around it. So really excited about delivering that and that experience and having some fun out there. Nothing like a nice little weekend of hoops and golf and betting and gambling and all the good stuff.
Andy, a little bit about Weekapaw. I know you're spending a ton of time over there making reels and making music videos and stuff like that. So I'm sure you probably know more about like the actual grounds and the sand than any of us do. So lay some information
that might be true,
on us.
But I'm not going to lay that kind of information. I'm going to tell you, I'm looking forward to this one as a guys' weekend. I'm just going to shoot that out there. This one, I'm going to be with my buddies during the Final Four out in the desert, first time to Arizona. Like, I'm just excited to get out that way. So I apologize. I don't have any groundbreaking information for you on the actual course. I just want to get there and have a party a whole weekend with everyone and kind of let loose a little bit.
Hey, Z, don't worry. There's no brush. There's only cactus.
So I don't have to worry about
the tips. We're all right.
I feel a little bit let down that he doesn't have any groundbreaking information. I'm just going to point that out. I'm just saying, I thought he would have come to the table with maybe a little bit more, but I'm sure he's going to make up for it when we go over Kiawah. So from there, and it's funny part is that I have itineraries going on. Like I helped Brian with his itinerary. Now I forwarded it to Amelia Tudor. I've got it over to Joe Corsi. Everyone's getting ready to do their travel logs to North Bend, Oregon. And obviously it's very difficult to put that together. And obviously everybody is coming from different directions, but I am coming from a completely different direction than everybody else. Everybody seems to be going there and coming back. I am potentially not going to see, civilization or my house for like 3 weeks. It's okay. There's worse things in the world. I personally have only heard things about Bandon from other people. I know it's amazing. I've seen it on TV. We have a very close friend of all of ours, Frank Alimo, who has been there, and he went there with Freddie, his brother. I think I told Rob this, and I'm sure Andy was in on this conversation. I personally did not want to play this event so that I could experience what it was, and I don't know if that means that I'm getting soft at age 38 to where I'm being less selfish, but to me, I think the property is what is drawing me to this one. So I know everyone's looking forward to it. I don't know how much you want to add. I like the idea that it's going to be the largest event there outside of the U.S. Amateur. But
well, I'll give a public service announcement for those that have purchased into the event and are planning on going. Now is the time to start planning your travel because it is not easy, as your point. You can't fly direct. You got to fly and connect in. So if you haven't built your travel itinerary, Mr. Zampano, he's got it, down pat. He can definitely help you from there. He's getting quite accustomed to it. But I think the unique thing about what Bandon is look, I think Bandon's built quite a reputation for themselves in a very short amount of time to being really kind of an ultimate golf destination for friends and buddies along those lines. I like the way we've built this event to provide a little bit of variety, right? So we have 3 tournament rounds. We have a fun round on the par 3. With all of the golf courses that they have available to them, we have the ability to add on golf courses and purchase additional rounds if you so choose. So you can really do the complete experience, or you can kind of do it on your own terms. So I think there's a little bit of uniqueness there. So there's a lot of details that need to get into the players' hands so they understand what it is. But to your point, I'm withholding the judgments and the words because it is just a really cool, special place. And I'm really excited to see the faces and the reactions that people have when they set foot on property, because it's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of one of those lifelong lasting memories for a lot of individuals, for sure.
Sure,
Andy's excited.
I got a buddy over at Itasca that was he's wanted to go to Bandon for a long time, and he's very grateful that we're able to take him there. And he just came back from Stream Song with us. I'm talking about my buddy Chuck over there, who has been playing golf for a long time, and watching him come up the 18th green at Stream Song, he was just overjoyed because he was in the hunt for the thing. He was having the time of his life, and he keeps talking about how excited he is about Bandon to get that same feel, to have a little competition, going to a destinational spot that he wanted to always go. I'm on the same boat with Z. A lot of these trips ones, I don't like to play anymore. It's a little bit too much in the timeline for me to try to play and then grab pictures. I like grabbing pictures and creating memories. I say it every episode. I love capturing these people's memories on these iconic courses, and they can take these forever, and say, hey, remember this time I went to Bandon Dunes, whenever I went to Stream Song, was in contention, all that. Like, that's just, I have a lot of fun doing that every single time.
It's, we know that you love doing it. We know that you love doing it. And I think that we love you more because you love to do it, which is an indicator that we potentially don't have to do it. But to that point, I think there's going to be plenty of memories out there. I think one of the cool things, and obviously Andy's going to dominate the next segment once we get over to Kiawah Island, but I just love the idea of walking. I think to me, it's I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to cart around the Bose speaker, like maybe like on an electric Segway or something like that. And but that's
like
going to be too much for 4 days of that, coming off of a 2-day travel. But
you got to rent one of those motorcycles.
Ooh, like
I
the
don't know
fins?
if they have those. I was on like an electric Segway or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be
see what we
cool.
can do.
Yeah, I'm sure we could figure something out. So, obviously, the last trip of 2023 down to Kiawah Island, another place I've never been. Like I said earlier when we started this, Andy spent 4 months there. He was fitting people for wedges. He was,
golf ball fittings.
doing a number of things. So, Andy, why don't you just take over this next 90 seconds?
You can
we'll
just
be back.
Fill everybody in on Kiawah.
Kiawah, go there. It's fun. No, Kiawah. It was the first. First off, when you get to Kiawah, when you're there, everything, you take a shuttle to get to all the courses. So it's fun. You don't have to worry about a car. You just get yourself there, and then shuttles take you everywhere. The ocean course was by far the favorite spot that I got to get to. I mean, obviously it's the most iconic one out of the groups there. The ocean course, to me, I could sit out on the 18th green and probably sit there all day. They have a restaurant right behind it, attached to the clubhouse. They got the putting course right next to that. You see the sun coming down on the ocean. I mean, it's a spectacular spot to be at. I can't wait to get back and show everyone else that we have. I didn't get to the other 2 courses that we're getting to. I was only at the ocean course, and that course coming in at nighttime. I'm hoping that's when we're going to get in that way. I got to check the itinerary again, but coming in at sunset or doing anything there at nighttime, even if we just go there and hang out like at nighttime, the restaurant right there, doing the putting course, watching people come in. You just had families sitting there too with their kids just watching as people came in. It felt it felt like home, like on a golf course. It was weird. I can't really explain it, but it felt like home.
Can I ask a question? Am I allowed to ask? Okay, just making sure. So, Andy, how do you think the ocean course compares to the scenery you set up? The golf course, 18th hole, finishing on the ocean itself, watching it, the restaurant set up, and kind of how would you compare the 18th hole at the ocean course to the 18th hole at Pebble Beach?
It's actually pretty similar. I would say the ocean course on Pebble, it's tough because I was coming in on that one on 50-mile-an-hour winds, and it was the only hole that Z actually needed me on because he hit out of bounds because he was carrying my back the whole week. So I actually had to focus a little bit on that one. But the ocean course, I mean, it was. I had said I think I liked the ocean course a little bit better than Pebble 18 coming in. Yeah.
Well, I think we're leaving you at home next time we go to California, but okay. All right. Nice little.
I didn't say I didn't like California. I just said I liked this one better. It's a personal opinion.
So the restaurant on the back of the clubhouse feels like home. There are families watching people come in, and the 18th hole is better than Pebble. I'm just making notes. I have a Google sheet here where I'm making notes on your statements, and I just want to hold you to them. That's about it. That's all I wanted to do.
It could have been the drinks I was having too. I had a big steak with some chimichurri sauce on it. A couple of drinks were going, so maybe that's why I felt like home as well.
If anybody wants to see what he actually did in Kiawah, it's at The Golfing Dad on Instagram. And if anybody has a special request, they can actually send us a request. I will send them some of the captivating videos that he sent us from his palatial suite that had a double French door that looked out into the ocean. So
yeah,
it's going to be a while before he goes on another scouting trip. So we got to keep him, contained a little bit. He kind of went overboard.
Soon they're not even going to be scouting trips. He'll have already been there. So we'll know about all the families at the restaurants on the back of the clubhouse. We'll know about all those.
Here's another example of me just taking pictures. There was a random family trying to take a selfie of them, like a family of like 12, and I was like, "Give me your phone." And then I ended up their phone was like a horrible generation phone, so I just used my camera that I had with me. I said, "Hey man, give me your phone number." Sent it to them. Made their trip. I mean, it's just what I look for.
He's a man of the people. Man of the people. It's just who he is.
By the way, earlier in this episode, he ties in Christina and having to fly home a little bit early from Vegas. Now he's helping everybody out. Let's just be honest here. It wasn't a family. While he was out there, were a couple little hotties hanging out. Okay, he's like, "Give me your number. I'm a professional photographer. I can handle this." He's like, "Give me 5 minutes. I'll run upstairs. I'll get my cameras. Beautiful sunset." Listen, no. We've all been around him long enough to know exactly how he is. So I saw the trend here. I saw the trend.
That was the Kohler trip when we were in the house next to the bachelorette party.
That's something between you, McLaughlin, and Grubich. So you guys can jump on a podcast, the three of you, sometime and go over the adventures that happened up in Kohler. So, no, I mean, it's going to be a great time. I think with all the things that are going on in 2023, a lot of the stuff that is trips orientated, or even the start of the series, as we talked about a little bit yesterday with the AGT rewards and the early access to the swag series. We kind of look at our lineup for the season, and then we sort of forget that not only in 2022 at the end of the year did we go to Pinehurst, but then we also look at we had the first swag collectors event at Big Cedar Lodge at the end of 2022 as well, right? So now you start 2023 with a great lineup. You have Swag Vegas that is going to be amazing. And then tentatively, which for all the AGT rewards members out there that potentially are listening, there will be a 2023 rewards event. Rob, what are some of the locations that you have been looking at? And I know this is your thing because you're the guy that plans it out years in advance, but you also hide things from us because you like to pop it up. So I would love to hear from you on what you're thinking, not only for the rewards event, but also how that is tied into other potential locations where we might see maybe some other types of events in 2023.
Yeah, putting me on the hot seat, and I like it. Good stuff. So, we're in active negotiations with several golf courses right now, several destinations to finalize the AGT Invitational. Little secret, there might be 2 this year. We'll leave it at that. But really, the areas that we're targeting is either Florida or Arizona at this point in time. We're looking for early December. We've got a couple of intriguing properties that we're negotiating with, and the idea behind, for those who don't know, the AGT Invitational is meant to be smaller group, really kind of that true VIP experience, really kind of bucket list destinations. Maybe even some golf courses that you maybe not have heard of, but we know that are really rich in golf history and facility is top notch. So look for some updates on that here in very shortly, and what that might look like. And don't be surprised if you see 2 AGT Invitationals in 23 for us. And then the second part to your question is what do we try to do with these, and why are these important to us? I think it gives us an opportunity to bring that small group and really kind of deliver on a great experience for them, but also then in some sort of ways think about how we can be bringing larger groups to this in the future years. For example, we went to Pinehurst last year. Obviously, that's a golf mecca, and it's obviously a facility that can accommodate a large group of individuals. Seeing it first and seeing how it interacts with a small group really helps us plan future events for larger groups and kind of the do's and the don'ts from that side. So don't be surprised if you see an AGT Invitational one year and you see a large event planned at that event maybe the year or 2 following after, because it's kind of a little bit of a blueprint for us and how to deliver just exceptional experiences to players.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, the event at Pinehurst was almost like a breather. I mean, there are so many events and I'm not saying that to take anything away from Pinehurst, but for just the rewards guys, for it to, or people, I should say people, not just guys, but as a part of that, just the small knit group of people having lunch or having a dinner together or going into the small downtown area where we could all get a drink together. It's awesome to have those. And I kind of look at that as like what we have done with Swag Vegas in comparison to like Big Cedar, right? Like they're 2 very similar things, right? Like a small, more intimate setting with a smaller group, and then you have the public larger event. And I really like that. And I really hope that we do eventually get to 2 of them. It would be good. I hope that people really start to see that it is going to be something that, hey, with this program, this might be my trip that I go on every single year. And you never know who's going to show up on them either.
Right. Yeah. Lots of versatility.
Yeah, it has that intimate feel. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does, Andy. Pretty much so. It's like our
office. I can't say one thing at this guy.
It's like our office.
Cozy.
It is cozy. It's a little too warm in here today.
Super cozy. Awesome. He's got the fan on up there. He's just enjoying life. So last episode, I kind of threw a curveball and wanted to finish everything. I wanted to finish up with like a little story, which was fantastic. I have put Andy on the spot to take us home with a story, and then a little small recap as to what to expect for episode 3.
Yeah, my story has got a little more to do with like a gratitude feeling between both of you gentlemen. About 7 years ago, I kind of gave up the game of golf, kind of got out of the industry a little bit. Had the first son, or actually 8 years ago. He just turned 8. So just turned 8. Got out of the game of golf. And then about 5 years after he was born, Mr. Maguire called me up, said, hey, I think you should get back into it here with us. Help me out, do some tournaments. I said, sure, I'll come by. And then I came to a meeting with you 2 gentlemen. Mr. Grubich was there, McLaughlin and Bischoff were there. Had a meeting. Actually, the first time we met, I met Andrew Schmidt. He came in, did a little presentation for us at that little conference center. And you got me back into the game. Both you guys got my juices flowing again. And I can't be more happy from where I am today and grateful that you 2 have brought me back. Z, I'm a year older than you, but you're like an older brother to me. You take care of me. And it's
that
been a
math
fun
thing
trip. Yes, it's that carrying the one and the whole thing. But without you two helping me out, get me back in the game, I'm a very happy man right now in life, and I have you two to thank for it. And it's been enjoyable, and I can't wait to see where this ride takes us still.
Verbal hugs. Love it.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
See,
Didn't know we were
he
going
makes fun
Dr.
of my
Phil episode 2.
He makes fun of my shoes and my clothes, and here I am saying how grateful I am.
I do not make fun of your clothes and your shoes. I just want you to tidy up a little bit.
Yeah.
We all show love.
Just 2 brands today.
We do. We do. I just want you to look. I just want you to look good.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It's part of the big brother thing. It's part of the big brother.
I do not look good. But on the golf course, the capris might have been a little wild, but they're sticking around.
I'll put a picture up right here for the capris. Where's my favorite capris picture right here?
Yeah, I mean, Z, I love you and all, but I don't know if I can see you in capris again. I think that was just too much.
I thought that was the team uniform for.
Well, obviously, as much as I appreciate both of your opinions on a daily basis, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to continue to do whatever I want out on the golf course. So,
Sure.
And with that being said, Andy, first of all, thank you. It's very good to know. I know some of the things that you went through over those 7 years, and it's a privilege working with you, and it's a privilege being your friend and sharing these experiences together. And I could never do what you do. I mean, I get to sit next to you every single day, which is really cool. Sometimes I feel very less of myself because I look over there and you've got all sorts of stuff going on. And then I'm just kind of like sitting around, like organizing golf clubs and where shipments are going to go. So, very thankful for you. And
I'm thankful for the stuff you do too, sir.
Yeah. So, Rob, any last words?
I'm thankful for you both. We're having fun. I think ultimately in the end, when we look at what we're doing and why we're doing it, it's for the golfers, it's for the experiences. You guys both enjoy them in your own way and enjoy different parts of them. You bring awesome abilities to the table that really makes it better for everybody that we're around. So I'm grateful for you two as well, and just really excited about what we're putting together, excited about the people that are around us, those that are participating in events, those are helping us, our partners, our friends, everybody around us. I'm excited about what we got going here, and really excited about what's going to happen here in the future.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be great. I think we're going to have a fun season. We're going to see Rob probably multiple times on episodes. Not to mention, we'll be doing some more Instagram live stuff, as Andy has said, that stuff is very important. So we're going to keep up with that. Plus, we're going to be doing live podcast stuff during Swag Series events in 2023 across the United States. Our next episode is actually going to bring both of those things together. Adam Gardner is going to join us. Don't Give a Putt, Swag Tour Concierge. We're going to go over just his involvement in the golf industry and how it ties all together, the beginning of Swag Golf and his connection to the consumer, and what the events that Swag has started to lay out does for their consumer base. So looking forward to that episode. We'll actually go back-to-back episodes with some people from the brand, which will be fantastic. And Andy, tell everybody again where they can find us.
Sure. Find us on the A to Z Golfing Podcast on Instagram, or you could follow us at AM Golf Trips on Instagram. Also, you can find our Facebook page at AM Golf Trips and Series. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want us to get back to you, or thanks for listening to the podcast. We're just very grateful to be doing this for you guys and bringing it all to you.
I love that is now his responsibility. The closing is now Andy's responsibility. So
he's getting better too. I like it. Good work.
It's getting fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and hope everybody out there enjoyed it.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Dawn.